It's ournoblepurpose@gmail.com for any testimonial opportunities for his Real Redox or the Thursday night call. But yeah, it was just some good review, but he talks about just repeating things. And again, it's also a part of how we learn things. You just, like, I think it was Dave just said, you don't hear everything the first time you listen to something, so you just listen to things over and over and over again and kind of saturate your brain and your subconscious with these things that just come out automatically when you start talking to people. So I've always got something in my earplugs just playing some type of ASEA training, just so I'm just listening to it over and over again. I think that's important too for like new people coming in. I tell it, plug in whenever you can. You're going to learn from different people. Come to our Zooms on Tuesday night and ask the doctor on Saturday and discover ASEA on Thursdays and Friday nights. You just learn something and you hear more people talk about it. So, but just the, I guess, discipline to get people to opt in and getting a peak of interest. Does this sound like something you'd be interested in learning about? Well, sure. Like, no, I'm not interested. Like, okay, that's fine.
Right.
This is something, this is my mission in life. But, if down the road you change your mind, we'll get back in touch. You know how to get a hold of me. So just keep moving and find those people that are open to at least learning about this. So
Absolutely.
it was good.
No, all good points. I'm going to ask him for the recording, just telling him my electricity was out. So, and see if he'll send it to me. So if he's not going to post it,
I think he said he was going to post it. He was going to edit it down because it ended up being a lot longer than he had planned. But he said he might post it, I think, in the discoverredoxtraining.com, somewhere in there. And then he also talked about possibly doing some training every month or every quarter, because he's had people ask him about just, again, repetition of just hearing his system and how it works. And I think the other thing I thought too, he keeps it pretty simple.
Yes.
We send a
Very
lot.
simple.
I send a lot of people probably way too much information. I just keep dripping on them and saying, where are we at with this? Are we ready? Like you said last week, ask people, are you ready to get started? What else do you need to see before we get you started? So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know in the mastermind, the Triple Diamond Mastermind, a lot of people were saying on a regular basis, we should probably do this, because we have new people coming in all the time. And he does keep it so simple, and you can use his tools, and it's perfect. So anyway,
the other thing I will mention too, and I caught this last week, the Real Redox Results website, he has updated the intro video. It used to be 7 minutes. Now it's about 9.5 minutes, and it's really, really good. But it's also it's including now some of the new research that's come out. So
perfect. Okay,
that's a whole new, and that's really good. That overview video is about 10 minutes.
I just watched it too and realized it was updated by another 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really good.
He also said, know your tools. He said, for a new person coming in, just watch 3 of those testimonials every day and just kind of document for yourself, like what they're talking about. Because a lot of people's like, where's if you know your tools, you can direct people to where they need to go as far as what to look at. But anyway, yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, that was an aha moment for me too, was to have new people just go through 3 or 4 of the testimonies per day, go from 1 to 142 or whatever it is now.
I've suggested that for a lot of my new people. Definitely. I think that's a really good thing, because then they said you're going to think of people that maybe that that has stuff like this, and you're going to hear the conviction in their voice.
So it certainly heightened their awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've listened to them all except for the last couple that were just put in. But anyway, it's a good review to go back for some of the ones. I know a lot of the people in there, but the ones especially that you don't know, to go back and review it again. Peter, you were saying something too?
Alan Noble talking about know your tools and have an outline so that you are reviewing that. And I know that I need to go back and update I updated it when he switched over from Amazing Molecules to Discover Redox, and it's time to review that again and so that I know exactly where to send people. And I also like the fact that he would say he would send the web page, you know, either product or business wise, and then he would tell you specifically, watch the third video on the page. Don't worry about the other two. And if people go back and watch the other ones, then you know that you've
Right.
got yourself a person that wants to know more about it. So that when you do your follow-up call and you see why I'm excited about this as compared to what did you like best, or you know, if you can answer the question why you are, or you can see why you're excited about it, gives you a totally different answer than what did you like best.
Right, absolutely. And with that thought, know your tools. I haven't, I need to get in touch back with Susanna because I really want her on and or somebody for the app, and then the advanced search. I was trying to figure out when one of my associates first became a director 3 and 700 for this contest, because I was hoping maybe he hadn't gone. I thought he went to director 700 this year, but now he had done it. But anyway, I was trying to play with the advanced search and it wasn't showing me what I needed to know. So I'm going to get them on to help train that, because the advanced search is a little bit different and it's a little bit more not as intuitive to know, you know, what to do in it. But anyway, but are there any other tools that you would like to have someone come on and explain to us so you would know them better? And if you can't think of anything now, if you think of it later, if you'll text me or put it in the Accelerator group. But can anybody think of any tools that they want to know a little bit more about?
So you're referring to the back office tool?
Back office, Alan Nobles. I mean, I could probably get him on here and he could train about his real Redux, Discover Redux, excuse me, or something like that. Are there any tools that anybody would like a little bit more in-depth training on? Yes, John?
I noticed that in the app that you had said that they were going to now have a preloaded version of the app. And I'd
Yes,
like
for
to
new
find
people.
out, yeah, and I'd like to find out what that contains, because I've already done my own buttons, but if
Right.
there's something that I'm missing, and I don't know how to play with it without potentially messing up what I've already done.
Right.
So, and that took
Okay.
so long.
I know.
So it would be nice if there was a listing of what they think are the key things we should have in our app.
Okay.
And just to clarify, the app isn't available in Canada at the moment?
Not yet.
Not yet. They're really working on it. They said Australia's rolling out this week. I'm like, what? I don't know what the deal is with candidates. That should be like as easy as doing the United States, I would think. I don't know.
Well, they told me that it was because of our banking system. I don't know what our banking system had to do with the app, but
I don't either. So I don't know. I'll try to, not that it matters if you don't have it, but I'll try to maybe find out why. But anyway, any other tools that anyone can think of? Anne?
What I'd like to learn more about is how to look into your downline if you don't happen to have their access, you know, like username or password. What is a way to see what they're doing, if it's possible?
Okay. I mean, but you do know you can type their names into the dashboard and the volume totals and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Okay.
But how much can you see? You know, like, can you see what
You
they're
can see almost
ordering?
everything. You can see almost everything except for how much they're making, although you could kind of figure that out too if you needed to.
No, maybe
You can
just
see the order?
the order, probably,
Oh,
what
please.
they're ordering.
What they're ordering?
no. You can see what the volume they're ordering, but you can't see what they're ordering.
Yeah, because sometimes they
Yep.
tell you, well, I tried it and it didn't work. But so I want to go back and see, like, did they really, you know, so at least I have something that I could say, well, you only ordered 2 cases. So how do you say you tried it for 4 months? You see what I mean? That's where I'm coming from.
My thought is that they're not aware of like the advertised specials. Like if they wanted to get like omega-3, like mine did, you can get discount if you get 3.
Right, I
Well,
know,
that's not
that's
noted
not,
there.
I
So
know.
could there be something on there that says you may want to get with the person, get back with the person to see about any promos? And I don't know how you want to do that, but my thought was just being able to know how to, like, for example, on our WhatsApp chats. I mean, that's a tool to me. There's always people like, where do you, where is that, this and that? And if you just know how to go up at the top, right, and see that there's the media, there's all the pictures, whatever you want, you can just pull that up and pick what you want. But there, instead of scrolling, and just to be reminded of that is very helpful. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
You mean on WhatsApp?
Yes. Or anywhere. I mean, even like when I tell my people, put some notes in your own contact. And, if you're sending things to people, you can look, just, you don't have to scroll through that. You can look at their contact and the information. So the same thing with WhatsApp. I learned that, and that's been a big time saver for me.
Yeah, you can do that with a lot of the apps, putting in content, but I don't know how many people know that. I know Jackie does. Jackie Martinez does.
Yeah.
She
So-
does it all the time.
Like, where can I find such and such? Okay, go to that whichever WhatsApp and then look at the top, find it. Easy peasy.
I
So
actually
what,
don't understand
what
you're
I'd like to learn is how to be able to access posters and links on my phone, because I usually use my laptop, but when I'm out and about, I need to know how I can, send something or give something to somebody right from my phone. And maybe Jackie's got the answer with that menu on WhatsApp. I'll have to look, but just that whole information management is a big thing for me, especially if it's, something that I don't usually save as a file or a picture.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
you can reach out to me. I'll help you.
Thank you.
Sean, okay, sure. Yep. No, I'm writing all this down so we can go over it. Sean?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Peggy. I did not mean to step on your comment. I was just listening to Jackie, and I'm actually not sure what Jackie's describing when she talks about WhatsApp and how to scroll, how to avoid scrolling. So that, I guess there's a learning there for me. I don't actually know what that shortcut is.
Yeah, it's a shortcut. Definitely.
Um,
Do you want
you can,
to share, Debbie, how to do that? Share your screen?
well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I can't get my phone on my screen.
Well,
Oh.
you can get the web version up. I have it
Anyway,
pulled up.
well, go ahead. Then you share. I'll let you share.
Okay.
Thanks, Jackie.
Yeah, no problem. So share. So for anybody that doesn't know, you can get a web version. I have it on my phone and on my computer and so forth, the WhatsApp group. And so, when you click on a group, Accelerator, if you're searching for, there's a search button at the top of every group. And so, if you're searching for NPR.
Say Hunter Dean, the thing he did.
So right here, I can see that Hunter Dean is highlighted.
And so it is in the Accelerator Group too.
Yep. Accelerator or Team Prosperity. And then you just click on it and it pulls right up to the link of Hunter Dean.
And Jackie, do you need to have the web version? Because I don't seem to have that menu on my WhatsApp.
Everybody's got it, Peggy.
What's that?
Everybody's got it.
You go to web.whatsapp.com.
You go into the group you want to be in, and then there's a search at the top.
Well, I'm in it now, and I don't see it.
I don't either, Peggy. I have the app version, right? I have it on my phone and I have it on my laptop, and that search bar doesn't pop up on the app.
Yeah, at the very top, under chats, it's right here, the search.
Is that the web version or the app?
This is the app because it's my phone.
What she's showing on her computer is the web version.
And then if you go to whatsapp.com, it'll, at the top, there's a WhatsApp web right here. You can click on it. Mine's going to pull right up, but it's going to ask if you haven't logged in the web version, it's going to ask for you to pull out your app and basically take a scan, what is it called? QR scan.
Yeah.
And then it'll link your phone to the web. It's very easy. And then it'll pull right up.
So I appreciate you sharing that, but that's not exactly what I was talking about. I was
Oh.
talking about, so if you go to like our WhatsApp, any WhatsApp group, Jackie, would you do that for me and see if I can figure out what I can share, what I could talk, where I'm so if you go to the icon, is that the icon or whatever it's called, the top where the name is?
Yeah, I'm in the Accelerator group.
But I'm not seeing the pictures. That's what I'm looking for, like the
Looking for
media.
the header in Jackie, where it says media.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, links and docs.
Let's see.
Thanks, Peter, for that clarification.
So I do have, when I'm an Accelerator Group, it doesn't have that menu across, but it does have two buttons, one for search and one for voice chat. So I did try search and put in MTR, and then I did get it. I think that's what you're talking about, Jackie Fielder?
No.
No?
That's all good. That's all good where you could type in what you want for the search, but I'm talking about being able to see the documents or the links or the media.
Yeah.
Like, so if you go up to where it says Accelerator, and it has our little horse.
Yeah. I'm not sure on the web version. I know how to do it on my cell phone, but
I think if you click on the Accelerator Group, Jackie, it'll bring the menus up.
So now I see more of a
Click right
menu,
there.
and there's media links and docs, 56 of them. So that's where posters and things are. That's great. Thank you for that.
Okay, good. I'm glad you got that, Peggy. How about you? You get that, Sean?
No, but you know what? I think, Jackie, I'll either call you or.
Yeah, that's good.
I feel like this is just becoming confusing with the web version versus the app version and the.
Well, I learned something new. I didn't know there was a web version.
Yeah, it's easier on it's almost easier on your computer for me anyway. But that's me.
Well, I've been, before I retired, I was on the road all the time, and that's why I've attached to my phone, my mobile. So I still even, that's where I'm most comfortable. I was starting to get into my iPad lately, but then I'm like, oh, I have to recharge that. So they all have different formats. Yeah, I understand. So I'm
Oh, I
learning.
think I just found it. I
Yay.
just found it. There's a search. Yeah, I see it. Got it. Thank you.
What I would like to see is that we were talking about the Real Redox results. Is there a way, I don't know, Peter, if you know, because you're an IT person, but like, how do we get their conversation? Like, it's the closed caption. Can we get that in some kind of format where we could search that? Because I just came from Arkansas, where my family's from. Maybe that's the connection, that just even where they're from, it might not be what they're dealing with. For me personally, that's just a thought I had. So if I look up Arkansas, I can find the person that spoke from Arkansas. If I've been looking for, well, I mean, it's tedious, it's time consuming. If we're trying to get all this information out quick to people, I'd like to be able to find the one that had was talking about their kidney capacity was down in the single digits. I mean, I know I could make kidney, but I don't even know if I heard it from that or heard it from like Monday mornings with David. You know, we don't get access to all of that. So I just told the girl, I said, I'm sorry, I don't know, I'm just gonna send it to you and you could just start looking at them just with me so we can find it that way. I don't know how to. Her son is on like 8 or whatever 4%
Well, Alan Noble
capacity.
just has the categories there on the side.
Yeah, I want more than that. I want what they're saying that I can key in a
Yeah.
word. I want to search in a word. Is there a way to do that, Peter?
It's voice. It's voice. There's no text that you can search on a word on Alan Noble's site that I'm aware of, except for his categories that he puts there on the side.
Hmm. Okay.
So I notice in mine that the media links go by month, so January, February. So I haven't got anything yet for March, but I presume this week we'll get all the posters for the events this week, I hope. So like the last
Well, I
one for
mean, it's that.
Debbie's
Oh.
is in February 28th, I think. For Debbie's Wednesday call.
Oh, well, David usually puts one out, and he usually does it, and he puts it out on the team phone call. And I usually copy what he does, but it's the same schedule every single week. It just changes the dates
Yeah,
and
but
who's speaking.
if you want to send it to somebody, you want to have the right date, right?
Right. I mean, you can send them and just say it's this coming Thursday. This is all the same information, but if you could change the dates if you wanted to, but unless it's a PDF. I don't know what it was, but anyway, but yeah, David usually puts one out every Monday. And I usually put it out on my Accelerator group so I can go in and do that and repost it. I usually
That would
put
be
the new
great.
dates
Thanks.
and if I know who's speaking. Anyways.
When it gets specific, Peggy, it seems like it's like a day of or a day before. But the generalization, that's what David's put out for all of us to see for every day of the week, pretty much.
Okay.
It's a blue background with the arrow pointing down. Anyway.
All right. Did everybody seem to get where to look for the search in the WhatsApps and stuff? Okay.
Hope that's helpful for everybody.
Yeah.
And you know, Debbie, I mean, I just I was floored when I heard 30 to 60 days to independence. That was my big thing, Sandy. There's a lot of big things, but I was like, I lost a whole year as far as I was concerned where I was at because my sponsor didn't want to do the business, but yes, she was. But she just didn't want to. Nope, my mom didn't coddle me. She didn't hold my hand. So I mean, I'm not trying to be ugly or anything. I'm just saying that's where she was. We reconnected now. We're like, oh yeah, yeah, this is what I'm learning, whatever. So yeah, and encouraging each other. But I didn't know because I've not done the business that I could go over her was what it felt like. I felt like I wasn't supposed to do that. So she didn't direct me to. So I was lost for a whole year, wasted.
Well, and I've always taught, and again, maybe you just needed to hear it from Alan Noble or somebody else, that basically when you get in, what your job basically is, if this is something you want to do seriously, is to get in and just kind of learn the tools and always call on anybody. I mean, I've always said, if it wasn't for, I was telling everybody to call Cindy and Bo Buck or Tammy and Chuck Gates when I first got started because I worked almost all the time. And so they had to go above me. And it doesn't matter who you work with. And you can even work with Crossline if that's something that you both want. I mean, I wouldn't use a Crossline for three-way phone calls all the time if they're not using you also, but definitely in your upline. So, but to learn the tools, like Alan said, there weren't very many when I got started, but that's the first thing I did was jump in and I learned what was in the back office, what was in the library, what we had, what we could use, all that kind of stuff. And then as it just kept coming on more and more, you learn as it comes, basically. But a very good idea is to go back and review, especially if Alan Noble is updating a lot of stuff. So make sure you're going in and looking at the 10-minute overview now, that kind of thing. Make sure you know what discoverredox.com has in it, so you can send people there, because he goes over all the different sections, and he has the studies, he has before and afters, he's got white papers, he's got all kinds of stuff in that.
Yeah.
So know what you're sending to people. Yes, Peggy?
Just to go back to watching 3 of Alan Noble's Real Redox results every day, I'm just a little curious, but I think it's important to be strategic and not just get somebody to start at one and go to the end one. But I mean, you can use the tabs, but also I'm finding that the more recent ones have been very, very compelling, and maybe when it started, they weren't, quite so compelling, but I mean, Alan's, a fantastic interviewer and researcher, but I think, there's some pretty incredible stories that have been coming out more recently. So you might want to get people to, to see some of the more recent ones and not just start at number 1.
Although
Hey,
number 1 is very compelling, it's Danielle Matthews, and number 2 is Dr. Ed.
Oh, right.
His
But
back and his mother with a stroke that couldn't speak. So, yeah, I mean, it's however people want to learn. You could go into the different categories and learn them all, basically, that kind of thing too. And we could also try to update what Roxanne had done for us as far as what the actual problems or issues were. So you can kind of find that yourself. But
You know what I
she
think?
had done it through 130 something, I believe.
What I was thinking is, sometimes I think with Dr. Carolyn, I don't know how often, but well, first of all, when David does his Mondays, they have 2 new testimonials. And Dr. Carolyn, I think before her time it actually starts, they'll either show one of the videos or testimonial. So I mean, even I know it's great to get our wins, but so I mean it's encouraging too to have a testimonial to talk about. Did anybody see a testimonial that they wanted to talk about? That's a win.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, when we're speaking wins, maybe some of the things that you've seen is what we're more talking about then, but we could do that too.
As a reminder to get our daily
Right.
testimonial vitamin, so to speak.
Right.
Vitamin win.
But you could, I mean, literally most of them take 5 minutes or, around 5 minutes, but you could just make that one of your daily checkoff lists, because Pearl's got a checkoff list, I know, of just going in there and watching one a day for the 100 and whatever it is, 50 days at this point, or whatever it is. And review it all yourself, because it's going to remind you of different people and different things, and then you can send people to one of the ones, as Peggy was saying, that's the most some of the most compelling. So you could even circle, have your list and circle the ones that you like the best, that's the most compelling to you. So anyway, this is all part of knowing your tools that Alan was talking about. And these are some very important things to do, because we've expanded so much. We have so many more tools, and I just had a lady that was turning somebody down because she said, oh, I looked into that. That doesn't seem to have, that much backing behind it. And I said, well, send her the white papers. Oh, where do I find those? But she's brand new. That's fine.
One of the last questions, Debbie, he opened it up to some comments and questions a little bit. I think somebody, is it a CRM? Somebody asked him about that, and he said he'd do some training on that because he's working on one now and it's not quite ready to say.
Okay.
So that's another good tool.
Absolutely.
And I could just use more tools to be organized. I mean, you want to talk. I mean, I love talking with people, but then I'm like, my weakness is not being able to. I mean, I know we have our
well, you should probably look into
daily.
something like Trello or something that you can
Right.
keep up with all of your people that you're talking to, and it reminds you when to contact them and all that kind of stuff.
Is
I
that
know
what
a
you're
lot of
using?
I know a lot of people, I know Jackie uses that. I still use my day planner a lot just because I haven't gotten on Trello, but I have everything written down. If I tell them I'm going to call in 5 days, I go right then and put their name in 5 days later, that kind of thing. I've
So how
always,
many,
Thank you.
yeah, how many of you use Google as, or Gmail as a contact? Because you can use that as a CRM.
mm-hmm. You can
Pearl,
put all those in your calendars.
Pearl uses, and I forget just the name of it right now.
Less annoying.
That's annoying.
Less annoying. I couldn't, I didn't like the way it worked, so I stopped using it. But, you know, there is several varieties of CRM or CRM out there.
You just have to have the discipline to sit down every day and
Use
use it. And that's one of the
That D
things.
word.
I know. But, you know, you can have Trello, but if it's not going to work unless you put people in it. So
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's something you can adjust
Yeah,
without
nothing works if you don't put people in. If you don't write it in and then flip to the next page or whatever you do to, if, you know, it's not gonna work.
right.
Peter, how do you use Google as a CRM? Is it like Google Calendar or what part of it?
Google, I use Google Calendar and email.
Mm.
So you can make different calendars in Calendar. And you make a private one for your follow-ups. And you gotta, so when you put somebody in there, I mean, if you put them in there and you don't do anything with them, they'll just keep on going. Or if you just put them in a one-time deal, they show up the once and then they're gone. So when I put a follow-up, I always put it on a repeating calendar date. So if I don't hit the first calendar date, well, then I'm in, you know, I use 3 days. Their name's popping up there 3 days later.
That'd be a nice little video
Thank
for you to fix, Peter. How to video.
Or maybe even a short training with your screen
Yeah.
share, Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we could do that in upcoming if people want to learn how to do that too. But anyway,
I
at
have
the end of
something
yeah,
to share.
go ahead.
In
Go ahead,
reference to follow-up, I do work with one on a regular basis. She has a chart that it says, all the chart says is, what do you intend to do? Did you do it? Yes or no? If no, why not? I've been working with that chart and putting 4 things at a time at the top of that chart and mastering those 4 things. And then after I've mastered them, I don't need the chart anymore. They're just part of life. So I'll run them for a month. And then the next month, I'll put 4 more things on the top of that list. Did I do it? Yes or no? If I didn't do it, why not? Well, I don't want no's on that chart. So something that simple has been having a huge impact.
So
Thank
that's
you.
another way to do it. Yes, absolutely. But
Personal
and then
accountability.
Sandy in the chat said, I put new customer associates in my Google Calendar as a monthly recurring touch base and write their name and original enrollment date in the notes. So it can be as simple as that, but you're at least following up with them. And again, if you use any kind of a day planner and you don't get to them that day, write it on the next day or write it 3 days later, like Peter said, or whatever. That way you get into the discipline of following up, because things happen. Sometimes you have an emergency and you've got to go out and you're not able to call somebody that day. But anyway, these are all excellent reminders. I just wanted to kind of gather where you were and what you wanted to continue to learn about. We're just kind of going back to basics. I'm glad Alan did his training. I'm going to see if I can get that. If he said he was going to put it in his thing, I'll do that. Yes, Sean?
Well, on Saturday, I too was part of what Lynn was doing the training because Danielle's in Australia, and
Right.
she did something called Whoop, and she
Yeah.
also did something called grand opening. And these were terms that I'd actually not heard of before.
Mhm.
And I think they're sort of fun in one way, and the other
Yes.
is they kind of get people excited. rather than say, make a list of 50 people or something like that, if you call it a grand opening and you're getting them involved in a Zoom, 20-minute Zoom to introduce, and they don't feel like they've got to make these phone calls that are terrifying to make. It's easier to make an invitation to something, an event, and then you turn it over to the expert who's going to do the 20-minute Zoom. It's just a different mindset. It's like a party.
Yes, a grand
And-
opening. That's what they call it.
Yeah. And so I think that might be a fun way to, think about this with people, even the coming up with the, calling something a whoop versus, the why that makes you cry kind of thing. It's like, there's some people who go, oh my God, what have I gotten into here? All of those things that could be a little bit overwhelming,
Intimidating.
right? Intimidating.
Right.
I mean, you still have to do it 7 times, I guess, because there's part of that. But
Right.
some of this is also peeling back the onion of where are people in terms of their desire for this, right? So I was thinking about that with regard to even the Alan's website. There's a part of this that you want to be able to make available to people, but we're also not here to spoon feed people. There's a part, you know what I'm saying? There's a part of this you want to match up. But there's also a part of it that people have to have a desire to go in, look at the tabs, kind of figure out what draws them in as a topic, let them go and explore, and then, have conversations. So I feel like you want to, the thing that I think is really critical to my mind is that you want to model what you want somebody else to do after you. So if you make it too detailed, it's going to be hard for someone to sustain it, to feel like they can do what you've just modeled. And so that's the other part of all of this that I'm thinking we make it more fun, and so the thing I was going to say to you, Debbie, is that where I have a lot of trouble is being able to say, if you get somebody who's as clear as a bell about, well, I want to make $2,000 a month.
Mhm.
And then you say, okay, here's your plan. Because that's part of that whoop. You're now going to have a plan to give them, right? That says, we're going to be in this together and I'm going to help support your vision about this. Those kinds of exercises I'm not comfortable with those. I don't know exactly how to help somebody construct how to get from A to B. So that would be something that I would love to learn to train on.
Okay.
Remind me again,
An
the whoop.
awful lot of that is Fraser Brooks training, whoop, for example.
Oh, okay. All right.
And
Yeah.
basically, an awful lot of, he believes very heavily in giving assignments. So you got an assignment from Danielle from last week, from Saturday. I'm sure that you did. I haven't seen the end of it, so I don't know what Lynn gave you. But Fraser always gave us an assignment every week. And the people that don't do the assignments lose out, is the way I look at it.
And one of the top distributors from Europe talked about that same thing too, Peter, of even before before he enrolls anybody, they have to do these assignments, and if they don't, then they're not part of his team.
That's Zolan. Zolan does that.
Zoltan.
Zoltar.
Zoltan.
Yes, he's always done that, or you're not part of his inner circle. He puts himself up there with Fraser Brooks, which he's doing a good job of it. Anyway, but yeah, that's why I always give assignments this time. I mean, if you don't do them, you're the one losing out, not me. I mean, I could take you out of the group, but if you're not doing them, you're the ones losing out. And I have done my own assignments each time also. Yes, Anne?
Yeah, Debbie, what I'd like to learn, an update actually on what is allowed and not allowed to be shared on social media, because at some point in the past we were not allowed to show the bottle or talk about ASEA, and then it evolved. Now it's like it's okay, you can show whatever. So like earlier, Bob was saying that he's going to share a webinar or, like from you on social media. So is that allowed? So
Well,
that's the
if it's,
question.
yeah, you can, I mean, you can always share a webinar as long as it's compliant, for one thing. The only thing that, especially David has an issue with is if you've got to have a password or anything to get into a webinar. For our team, he doesn't want it shared with everybody in ASEA because he's afraid our webinars will get way too many and overwhelming. So on Ask the Doctor, if you put that out, just say password, you've got to ask your upline for that or whatever however you want to put it. So that's one thing. But you can post, I mean, the compliance is fine with you posting anything as long as it is compliant. So you've got to make sure a webinar, that's why Alan Noble's so careful every week as to what he says and everything else. But some of the webinars I've done, as far as 20-minute Zooms and stuff, sometimes they aren't as compliant as they should be. So I don't post my 20-minute Zooms unless I've been very compliant. So like the private ones, I'm not the public ones I am. So anyway, that's what you've just got to check. Make sure it's compliant and they're not showing wounds or anything like that, because you can't say anything about healing. You can show before and after, and you can say the same thing's happening on the inside of your body. You just can't see it, that kind of thing. So you can kind of infer that, but anyway.
I think there was a link to the current compliance document in WhatsApp, but I can't find it when I do that little search. So I imagine it's in our back offices too, right? The 2023 compliance.
Right.
Yes.
And it is in WhatsApp. I just saw it. I'm looking right at it, actually. Yeah. It's in February.
So anyway.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you all. I just wanted to see where you were today, and this has helped me a great deal. Finding out what else you want to train on, and we can go over the WHOOP. I usually, I've been working with Danielle and Lynn, and we can go over the WHOOP and the grand opening, because that is a nicer thing to say if you want to have a grand opening, if they're really serious about the business. It's a great way to put it. And then they just kind of understand it's a grand opening. Oh, I'm going to invite people to this grand opening. I want you to learn what I've learned, so come to it. That kind of thing. So that's an easy thing for people to do. They're not as intimidated. Anyway, I feel like I should let you guys go. It's been 1 hour and 15 minutes. Thank you all for your time, and I will see you next week. And next week I will be in North Carolina doing this with Joyce and Pearl, because we're going to Pinehurst. So I'll have to remember that it's on at 10:30 then. So somebody ding me if I'm not there. No, I'm kidding. We will be there. And so anyway, have a great week, everybody. Don't forget your assignment. Call 10 extra people and start learning your tools. Okay. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank
I'll
you.
get my form over to you, Debbie. I didn't get it over there last night. I'll send it out right now.
Okay. Perfect.
Still
Okay.
working on mine.
I don't want to get knocked off your group. So if you guys aren't turning in that form, she said if you don't turn it in twice, she's going to take you off the group. And I don't know how disciplined she's being about that. So if you're not sending her that form, get on it. Or she needs to say, do what she said she's going to do.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thanks. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.